Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to St. Luke's. Great to see you. My name's Gareth, if you don't know who I am, and I have the privilege of kind of being the vicar here. It's not kind of like every week we have an evening where people are drinking and sort of celebrating in this way, although occasionally we do share communion. It's not really the same, but you never know. But it is great to welcome you, and if you've never been in this place, it is actually a church building. We are actually drinking in a church building, and there's no lightning strikes. It's all okay, so don't worry. Should you find that you've been drinking and need the toilet at any point, then they are just out through the back door. The foyer where you came, just turn left and you'll find the toilets. As we know, with the last 12, 18 months, it's been a tough year, and we're all kind of learning and adapting to different ways of being and kind of like the new normal, whatever that is. Do we wear masks? Don't we wear masks? We're asking that as we're seated, if you're happy to not wear your mask, it's entirely up to you. But if we move around the building, so you go to the toilet and all that kind of stuff, if you could put on a mask, that would be really great, because we do know that we do have some vulnerable people in our community, and we want to do all that we can to be responsible citizens and guard and protect them. So I'm looking forward to a great evening. We've got two brilliant comics lined up for you this evening, Paul Kerensa and Andy Kind. I've seen them a number of times, so you are in for an absolute treat tonight. You really are. So please feel free to laugh in church, whatever. I'd be very cautious. I don't know if you've ever been to a comedy club or a comedy place at all at any one point, but if you kind of stand up during a comic's kind of act, it's kind of dangerous, isn't it? Because they say, excuse me, sorry, where are you going? And you are, and so all of you on the front row, you've been handpicked to be available for fodder, as it were, comic fodder. Susan, lovely to see you. Lovely scarf, blue, my favourite colour. It's good, it's good. Well, without further ado, I will get off the stage. I'm so delighted to welcome our first act. He's a writer for the BBC. He's done Edinburgh Festival and a whole host of kind of Christmassy comic carol things in cathedrals, and he's done church gigs, and he's done TV gigs, and so you're in for a real treat. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please give the warmest Maidstone welcome for Paul Kerensa.
Hey! Thank you, Gareth. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank. 45 minutes, yeah? Right. Good evening. How are we? Hello. So lesson one is basically, if you're going to put a mask on and a microphone, it becomes a bit like Beat the Buzzer. You remember those? Hello! Hello, my name's Paul. What are your names? Lawrence. Nice to meet you, Lawrence. Lot. It doesn't matter, just keep eating your food, I would. Lovely to be with you here. Good evening, Maidstone. It's a pleasure to be part of this marvellous return of live events. I don't think I've seen this many. I mean, it's just, to be honest, it's nice to be out of the house. It's nice to be in a room of people I'm not related to. It's been the first time in a little while. Give me a cheer if you're here with someone you're related to. Oh, well done. You're not sick of them yet then, are you? You're not come out. Welcome and well done. And it may have been a while since you've actually been an audience. In fact, you've never been an audience together as all of you together. So this is a nice chance to do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a show of two halves. There's myself and there's Andy Kind. And then in the middle, there's an amazing interval. Oh, you're going to love it. You can go to the loo. And, it's other things, probably. I don't really know. So first of all, we should find out who's in from where. Give me a cheer if you're from Maidstone. Excellent. Give me a cheer if you're not from Maidstone. Oh, well done. You sound very happy to be not from Maidstone. Where are you from if you're not from Maidstone? Iron Bay? Is that Iron Bay? Is that a place? Is that a place? No. You the one who goes, oh, I don't know. Is it, say again? Oh, Herne Bay. I thought Iron Bay. It's something like Game of Thrones, isn't it? No, Herne Bay. Less Game of Thrones, more Wish You Were Here. 1970s. Very nice indeed. Did anyone have an overseas summer holiday this year? If so, keep it to yourself. We don't need to know about that. Thanks very much indeed. We're very pleased for you. Your tan speaks for itself. Keep the photos off Facebook. Thanks all the same. It's been a time of it, hasn't it? It's been a time of it. Should we say that much? It's. I won't dwell too much, but I think it's important to just reflect a moment on. I mean, how big a thing this has been. I know that we want to move on very quickly, but actually, at some point, we are going to have to look back and go, do you know what? That's a pretty big thing. So big that even comedy has had to change. Do you realize that even standard jokes no longer work? An Englishman, Irishman, and a Scotsman don't meet up because they can't even leave their own country, let alone their own house, and let alone they can't meet each other. Man walks into a bar. No, he doesn't. The bars are all closed for half the year. My wife's gone to the West Indies. How? Flights are grounded. Red list things. Why did the chicken cross the road? Social distancing. Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, there's no one here. I've left a delivery on the bin lid and done a runner down the street. You know, don't want to go near your house. Waiter, waiter, there's a fly in my soup. Oh, I'm no longer a waiter. I'm now a greengrocer. The restaurant is now a greengrocer's. You know, so it's all highly confusing. Doctor, doctor, I feel like a pair of curtains. Quite busy right now. Think you need a haberdasher's, although that's also currently closed. You know, I'll just call 101. So anyway, it's lovely to be here. This is a very nice, beautiful setup, isn't it? Really, really nice. I love the sort of the backdrop you've gone here, kind of a blue, white. Is this a French theme? Is this like a Les Miserables kind of set? Oh, sorry, did I said French and you got ooh? I forgot we're in Kent. You know, because you're well done. You know, you're the front line, aren't you? On the well done, everybody. It's lovely to be back in a nice. It's a lovely church. This really, really nice. You get all sorts of different. I'm well aware we might have a mix as well. I don't want to kind of pick on people. I don't want to embarrass people. I don't want to make people feel awkward. So. For this one, maybe we'll do a light hum. So forget cheering, just a light hum, so we won't know it's you, but we'll hear an oval response, okay? So a light hum, not like that, so don't worry. A light hum, if you come to this church regularly, kind of normally, on a Sunday, when there's not a pandemic on, kind of thing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, mostly the front row, you got here early, well done. Give us a hum if you do go to a church, but not this church, but another church. 1, 2, 3. Okay, very good. I'm sure you hum for both of them. Moonlighting. Okay, there in the morning, there in the evening. Okay. And give us a hum if you don't go to this church or any church and you've been dragged here or you're designated driver or you've come in thinking it's a Wetherspoons. Because you can't tell the difference nowadays, can you? Church and Wetherspoons, they're very similar. Remember Yates's Wine Lodge? All the same sort of thing. So give us a hum if that's you. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. You are all most welcome. I mean, sorry, you're almost welcome. You're all space. Most welcome. And give us a hum if you didn't hum to any of those 3 things for some reason. Why? Everyone was included in that. Doesn't matter. Anyway. Give us a hum if you don't like humming, yeah, etc. Well done. Okay, well, good to know. Well, if you're in the latter category, or even if you didn't join in because you didn't even want to join in with that, then you are especially welcome. We've locked the doors, but you're most welcome. We'll let you out Sunday lunchtime. That's how it works. No, but the thing is, church is all sorts of different shapes and sizes. I'm a Christian myself. It's nice to be a Christian. We get a hard time for some reason, but you know, we're nice people. It's named after the 2 great names of history. You know, the word Christian, named after 2 great names, Christ and Ian. We've forgotten Ian mostly. I don't know historically who Ian was. I guess no one wrote a book about him, so that's the problem with Ian's story. But And churches, you get all sorts of shapes and sizes of church, don't you? You get all, I mean, this is beautifully done. I love the way it's very modern. It's kind of funky. I like that. I was recently at a church and I said to the vicar, I said, what a beautiful, creaky, wooden old church you have here. And he said, no. The church isn't the building, it's the people. You might have heard that before, yeah? The church isn't the building, it's the people. And I said, yes, that's exactly what I meant. Creaky, wooden, old, beautiful, but still. And I know the church is the people, isn't it? Especially now in a pandemic, we've known that more than ever. The building's closed, but church kind of continues. You're part of the community. You're out there, even in your homes, looking out for each other, being together. Whenever 2 or 3 are not gathered, but on a Zoom call, you know, there I am sort of thing. And the church isn't the building, it's the people. It makes it trickier to find churches on Google Maps because they keep moving around. But, you know, that's what it's, and it's been a refreshing sort of time to figure all of this sort of stuff out. I'm from a little village in West Devon, called Cornwall. And that's nice. Is anyone from the West Country? Have we got anyone from down west? Oh yeah, there's hands up there. Yeah, they're from 2 different. Where are you from? From Exmouth, very nice. Devon, proper. There you go. And there was a hand up over there. Were you from that way? Whereabouts? Cheltenham. Cheltenham. I mean, that's not. I mean, what's that? Gloucestershire? Is it sort of Cheltenham, Leicestershire? It's barely Cornwall, is it? It's the gateway to the west, isn't it? Or the east, or the north, depends which way you're going. You just pass through, that sort of thing, isn't it? But Cornwall, Devon, we've got a bit more rivalry, haven't we? I mean, let's do a little test here. If you had a scone, or a scone, or a schoon, or a scown, and a bit of jam and a bit of cream, what's going to happen? What's going to happen there exactly? The cream first. Out. That's it. No, out. They're not having that. Devon way, cream first. Historically, it's because they put the jam on top because jam was the more expensive good. It's the sugared good, and you know, it's basically them showing off, look what we can afford. Whereas the Cornish, humbler folk, clearly, you see. The Cornish way is you go scone and then jam and then cream and then jam and then cream and a bit more jam, a bit more cream, wrap it all in a pasty, and you know, that's a Cornish diet. The Cornish diet is basically Greggs. That's basically it. It's pasties, it's brown stuff, it's saffron buns, it's baked goods. I grew up, you know, in Cornwall. Don't live there now, but I grew up in Cornwall, and the Cornish diet is not good. I mean, we're a bit naive. I used to think if you have a pasty and some antipasti, that's a 0-calorie day. But that's not how it works, it turns out. So can you see over there? You're dodging past the bottles. That's no good, is it? Shall I do a bit of that? I'll just knock one over. That's going well here, isn't it? Well, I mean, you could move, but I'm going to do the work for you. So there you go, because there you go. Is that better for you? Is that better? What's your name, my friend? What's your name? Nigel. Hello. Everyone say hello, Nigel. Hello, Nigel. There you go. That counts as audience banter. He looks very awkward now, doesn't he? And there you go. Have you got a job, Nigel? You got a job? Yeah. Well done. Showing off. What's your job? Anything?
Graphic designer.
Graphic designer. What's your favourite font? Comic Sans, did you say? Which? Oh, Gill Sans. That is a good one, and I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's a good one. That was the BBC font, wasn't it? There you go, I know my fonts. There you go. Yeah, there you go. There's a nice one over there as well. They baptise. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Very good. That was well done. Very well nice to meet you, Nigel. That's the end of that particular conversation. So, Cornwall, yes, Cornwall. Proper Cornishman, born and bred. I'll tell you this, when I was born, I had a bit of a troubled start in life. I wasn't well as a baby. Thank you. That's true. I wasn't. I was so not well. I was actually born in a hospital. I mean, you know, that's quite. And no, it's true because when I was born, I was actually born without a belly button. Okay, I've never had a navel. I don't see the point. I keep my fluff in my pocket. Otherwise, there's no real use, is there? Have you all got belly buttons? Yeah, because they're quite in or out, aren't they? But they're there. I genuinely haven't. Normally, at a pub gig, I would demonstrate at this point. It's a bit weirder in a church, I think it's fair to say, isn't it? In case you start going, oh, it's Adam. Because I imagine he didn't either. Although he would have had a rib button, wouldn't he? So I don't know how that works. But so if you want proof, then I don't know, see me after or something, or I don't know, if you don't want to, if you think this is a bit icky, I'm happy to demonstrate. But just if you think it's a bit much, just look away now, all right? And if you're a bit uncertain now, aren't you? It's gone weird. So it should be there, right? Belly button should be there. It's not, is it? Yeah, a bit weird, isn't it? There's your front row seats for you, right there. Oh, hello. We did get here for a reason. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Yeah. Bit weird. Now, I would explain why, otherwise you'll never sleep again. What it is, when I was born, and I like to leave this slight gap for people to work out for themselves. I've had people say, well, you must be an alien. I've had that a few times at 10 years at school. I had, you must be a clone. People said, you must be a clone. I had one guy recently, arms folded, said, easy, you're a test tube baby, aren't you? Hey. And I had to explain to him, test tube babies aren't born in actual test tubes. Rocked his world. He literally thought after 9 months the glass smashes and the baby is handed over by a stork or something. No, that's not how it works. So the story with me is when I was born, I had some organs on the outside, which isn't ideal because they're called internal organs. And they look at you and they go, that's wrong. Okay, even for around here, it's a bit unusual. And we better fix it because he'll get looks if he goes up to the mainland up in Devon, And so they make a little incision at the nearest gap. They put the organs back in. They zip it up. The belly button heals over. The organs just work somehow miraculously. Isn't it a marvellous thing? And I don't know if that's what they're meant to do. It's what the Cornish doctors sort of, they were improvising, I like to think. I'm pretty sure one Cornish doctor was looking at me going, oh, well, I don't know what we should do here. There's some organs on the outside. Well, we can make him like a pasty. Shove the meat in, knead it together, a bit of crimping. So we need a little bit of crimping. Add a bit of meat and some gravy, some carrots. There we go, yeah. So I'm a human pasty, basically, and I've got what they call a neobladder. This is true, it's called a neobladder. It's sort of a semi-artificial bladder, but it's because it's a bladder that I wasn't born with, but it is now mine, because I got it just after I was born. I call it my stepbladder. So that's quite nice, isn't it? So, it's a bit of a, cheesy joke, but at the same time, I think that joke was worth all of that surgery, wasn't it, really? So, but I'm fine now, thanks for asking, and But I've long had an appreciation of the NHS, long before the rainbows. I've been very, very grateful. I've got my money's worth out of the NHS. I've had 99 surgeries before I was 5, which is a lot. It's frustratingly one short of 100 as well. You'd have thought they could have found one more thing to do, but still. And I was last in for any great length of time in 2019, right? The good old, do you remember 2019? The good old days. Anyone else nostalgic for big arguments about Brexit? That was just simpler times, wasn't it? A simple division in the country rather than this. But yeah, I was in hospital, and it was one of the election days. 2019, we actually had, I think, 3 elections. We had the local elections, general elections, European elections, and we won't get many of those anymore. But we had lots of elections that year. And I was in hospital, in the bed, and these 2 nurses talking over me like I'm not there. One said to the other, oh, it's the elections, isn't it? It's the local elections. I must go vote after work. And the other nurse said, is it the local elections? I thought it was the general election. And the other one said, it's basically the same. And that worried me, because I was about to get a local anaesthetic. or the old general anaesthetic. And they don't know what the difference is. It's really worrying. So I had the general anaesthetic in the end. They knock you out completely, and you get a bit nervous with the general. It's a lovely, if you've not had one for a while, it's a lovely experience. The going under, you go, ooh, woozy, it's really quite nice. But when you're being wheeled there, you get a little bit nervous, right? And when you're a bit nervous, you've got a little pocket of wind down, do you know what I mean? This is as low as I'll stoop, by the way, tonight, don't worry. Bit of pocket of air down below, and you think if I clench, it'll swallow itself. It'll come out as a hiccup in about an hour. Do you know what I mean? One of those, oh, it's that, from earlier. But then you get to the operating room and they lie you down and they give you the little mask and they say, right, we're going to count down from 10. When we're about 3, you'll be out cold, right? And I thought, no clenching's going to happen in just a moment. I'm going to get to, they'll count down from 10. When they get to 0, I'm out cold and I'm going to deliver a parting gift. Literally parting to this windowless room that we found ourselves in. I thought I'd better say something. I had just enough consciousness left to go, sorry, by the way, for what's about to happen. And the last thing I heard before I passed out was just, sorry for what? And I was gone. And I'd love to have been there 5 seconds later, really. Just to hear them all going, apparently he's sorry for something. I don't know what he could be. So, oh, you dirty man. That's awful. That's why they have the masks. So I'm fine now, all is well, all is good now, and with the medical side of things, so that's all right. And that was 2019, and then 2020 was a bit of a quiet year gig-wise. Don't know why. Sometimes the phone just stops ringing. What can I tell you? No, of course we had the old thing. Is that the phone? It's a very old-fashioned. That's not the phone ringing. Because it sounds like literally a church bell. It's like if the phone rings here, someone, oh look, it's flashing. Dong! That's very nice. I like that very much. Old school. No, we had, hey, how was homeschool? Did anyone suffer homeschool? How was that for you guys? Was it, give me a cheer and make your cheer sound with what your attitude was to homeschool if you did homeschool. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's about right. It was mad. We did homeschool. We did the homeschool. We got 2 children, Matthew 10, Esther 8. Those are their favourite Bible chapters. And, no, they have names as well. But so they both did homeschool. Suddenly it's like, school is now at home. This is it from now. And oh, this is weird. Typically day 1, we got Ofsteded. Apparently, I mean, I wasn't there. I'd declared it a staff inset day, so I was down at Wetherspoons, banging on the door, let me in. It was closed for months. But so homeschool was weird. We got through it. It was all fine. But my son loved it because he's 10, and his favourite thing is IT. He loves computing, coding, all that stuff. And suddenly, every lesson was IT. Suddenly, it's like he's fixing the computer, the teacher's desktops remotely from home, saying I can fix Teams for you. He was using Zoom years ago. He knows about it all. He loves IT so much that for his birthday, he's actually asked for a book on IT, and I found a book called IT by a bloke called Stephen King. And he loves clowns and balloons. It's going to be a cracking bedtime read. It's a big book, but fine. So, we have reached that point where both our kids now know more about technology than my wife and I do, which makes it a bit tricky because, we can't really help them much. And like my 8-year-old recently, she reprogrammed the parental lock on the TV so we can't watch what we want to watch. Non-stop CBeebies, shuts up for 7, we go to bed, we can't be the only ones who've woken up the kids to ask them how to use the Sky Plus remote. We haven't got a clue. Absolutely crazy. I can't work out a multi-channel universe. What was a good number of TV channels, do you think? What was a good number? 4. We didn't even want 5, did we? Now we've got hundreds of channels and Netflix and YouTube and Apple TV. BritBox, I can't keep track with it all. 4 was fine. How can you have a channel 5 and a channel 4+1 that show different things? That makes no mathematical sense. 4+1 is... I won't explain all the jokes, but it's 5, basically. And they show countdown. It's rubbing it in. They should know better. But my wife said to me a while ago, she said, turn off the TV, read a book, educate yourself. Do you know any words of Churchill, for example? I said, Churchill? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, no. Oh, yes. It's the nodding dog, and it doesn't matter. Anyway. Hey, do you know what? I think we've got time for a sing-song. Shall we have a sing-song? Are we legally allowed a sing-song, or is it going to be a hum-along? I don't know. You can decide. Decide your level, right? Basically, have you got a karaoke night locally? Have you got a karaoke locally? A locally karaoke? Locally? Okay. What you have now, right, this is, see, my name's Paul Kerensa, so I've called it Kerensioki, right? The Kerensioki is like karaoke, but my little twist on it for a church, right? Now, normally at a karaoke night, I bet that no one here has been to a karaoke night for at least a year and a half. Is that fair to say? Okay. Well, normally you get a big booklet with like 1,000 songs in it. Mine is more limited. I've got 6, right? But it is genuinely interactive, okay? So whatever you yell out, we'll sing the words to, all right? So anyone, just yell out any of these and we'll have a sing-song. What do you want to sing the words to? Rocking around the Christmas tree, because it is nearly Christmas, you're quite right. So we're going to sing the words to Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. But what tune would you like to sing it to? There's the twist. I knew there was one coming. You can... House of the Rising Sun, all right, we'll give it a go, shall we? House of the Rising Sun, here we go, right, here we go. Here we go. Ooh, listen to that bass, oh yeah. Do, do, do. All together, or hum, whichever you want. Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. I think I went a bit low there at the start, but I'll be honest, it's quite a long song, so you get the idea. Imagine 4 minutes later we've done that, and then we'll move on to another one. So now you know the rules. Yell out another thing, and we'll try the words of someone else. What do you want to sing the words to this time? What do you want to try? Nursery rhymes. Okay, we'll do some nursery rhymes, right? And what tune would you like to try your nursery rhymes to? The Benny Hill theme. Let's see if that works, right? Oh, hang on. Oh, have you got that as well? Oh, no, it's just me saying, oh, hang on. Right, you can't have Benny Hill because you can't find the thing. But just imagine it works. Oh, my God, I had a farmy. There you go. That was that one. There we go. I've chosen for you. Bom, bom, bom. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Oi. Do, 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 do. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a pig, E-I-E-I-O. Bom, bom, bom. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Long came a spider, sat down beside her and fried Miss Muffet away. Hey diddle diddle, a cat and a fiddle, a cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such fun, and the dish ran away with the spoon. Jump, 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 bada, bada, bum, bum. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Dr. Foster went to Gloucester in a shower of rain, stepped in a puddle, ran into his middle, and he never went there again. Well done, everybody. Oh, very good. I haven't got any voice left for any others. I think, you can try the rest at home, all right? You can try the rest in your own time. The thing is, actually, I'll let you on the secret. There's a thing called common meter, right? Lots of songs are all written to the same meter of it all, and they all fit together. But there are certain songs that don't fit common meter, but they do fit other meters, and I found a few, right? So, for example, these are quite good for a church, I think, because I should say as well, by the way, if you've got any doubts about this, any people here who are, Christian folk who think, oh, I'm not sure about, hymns or carols to modern popular music, then there are 3 reasons why it's fine. Firstly, right, there's a great history of this. The Methodists, a couple of hundred years ago, you might have heard of the Methodists. You've got, they're set up by the Wesleys, right? John Wesley, Charles Wesley, Ron Weasley, big ginger family, and they wrote lots of hymns, especially Charles Wesley. He wrote Hark the Herald and all sorts of other ones, right? And but what he'd do is all the tunes, they would borrow the tunes from the pubs to start with, so that people would come into church and they'd know how the songs go if they couldn't read the music, right? So that was just a nice way. So it's good history, this. Secondly, we're just spreading the good Christian message through the world of popular culture. Whole section passed an archbishop. Yeah, and she said it was fine. So, yeah, she said she's an archbishop. I didn't believe her. So like I said, certain songs work to different tunes that are not common meter. So I found one song that works for this. Any fans of 70s rock? Right, Teenage Kicks. Here we go, right. All together. And did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green? And was the Holy Lamb of God on England's pleasant pastures seen? And did the countenance divine shine forth upon our clouded hills? Jerusalem, that is... You've got to pick the right note to start with, of course. That really helps. But, you know, you live and learn, don't you? Hey, what about this? A classic. Well, I know, you know, this is never more controversial than this. Some people going, don't you dare touch Shine, Jesus, shine. Graham Kendrick is golden. There is one song that works all right, nearly, not quite, bit of a push to Shine, Jesus, shine. Lord, the light of your love is shining in the midst of your darkness shining. Jesus, light of the world, shine upon us. Set us free by the truth you now bring us. Shine, Jesus, shine. Boom, boom. Shine, Jesus, shine. Apologies, I can't sing, by the way. I mean, that's up to you. You've got to do the singing for that anyway. You get the idea, right? Okay. And I think I've got one more. What's the last one? I can't remember. Oh yes. We can't do this one for legal reasons because it's not appropriate for a church. Good. Moving on. But you can just do it, you know, work it out at home at Christmas. You know what tunes could be good for Hark the Herald Angels, and you can work it out, you know, and you can just play with different tunes, but not for a church. It's not the right. So I'm just going to skip past it. No, thank you. It's good though, he's good. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to man. Anyway, well, that got you going, didn't it? I've never heard them sing so much. Luckily, you were just singing. No one got carried away. That was all right. It was all right. Once again, spreading the good Christian message through popular culture is all we're doing. Good. I think we got away with it. Fine. Okay, it is good. I am a Christian. I've said that earlier. I just need to tell you that again. So it's all fine. Don't worry. One of my passions is getting the Bible out there in different ways. I know we've not exactly done that here, but it's certainly different. There is that. But and one of the things I've done a few children's books. They're not available. Well, they are available, just not tonight. And I've got age. What are the chances you got the baggie? They're still not available, but they look like this. If you've got preschool children, there you go. That's the plug. But I've got questions, right? I've got questions. So I wrote a book called Noah's Car Park Ark, all about Noah and the Ark and the animals, and set in a car park. And but my question with Noah is, what happened with the sharks? Right? What happened with the sharks? Because I reckon, you know the story of Noah. God, you know, it's like wiping out all the old, you know, but saving a few, saving Noah, saving the animals. But I reckon sharks were meant to be wiped out, because I've seen Jaws. They're evil, right? I reckon they're meant to be wiped out, but the sharks found a loophole, right? They could swim, so they got away with it, you know, let the flood happen, let it rain 40 days, 40 nights. They're just going to keep a low profile, guys. We're not on the ark, but it's okay. We'll get through this. Keep it down, though. There's Noah up there, right? Yeah, keep it down. And that's how they got their name, you know, Ark. So, it's a true story. That is... not waving but drowning. Anyway, you get the idea. So yeah, and then you get, well, before that, of course, that's all Genesis. Before that, you've got Adam and Eve, of course, Adam and Eve, and God created Adam. There's a lovely tradition as well, lovely tradition. You've got to really read between the lines to get this, but there's a tradition that Adam got to name all of the animals, if you take a really literal approach. And I love that tradition. It's a nice, you've got to name all the animals in one day, apparently. And that's telling, if you look at the names in the animal kingdom early on, duckbill, platypus, feathertail, cockatoo, end of the day, I imagine, rat, bat, cat, gnat, you know, dog, hog, log. That was just a log, fair enough. And then Eve came along. There's no saying they got on immediately. Adam may have looked at Eve and said, ooh, and she looked at him and went, Adam, if you were the last man on the planet, oh, you are, okay. Because obviously she didn't know him from him. So, but I do find it easier to do, kind of talk, comedically or whatever about the stories furthest away from Jesus and from the cross and all the stuff that's really, the crux of it. That's exactly where the word crux comes from. But there are still human nature stories in there. Because the thing is, the 12 disciples, as I grew up, I used to think the 12 disciples, holier than thou, elevated, all that sort of thing. But you look at the 12 disciples and they are us, right? The 12 disciples are us. In just 12 people, you've got doubters, doubting Thomas, betraying Judas. You've got Simon Peter denies Jesus 3 times. Although he never said Simon says, so I don't think it counted. So bear that in mind. But we're all. It's human nature, isn't it? We get things wrong. I get things wrong all the time. I'm terrible at getting things wrong. Certainly when I got married. That wasn't the wrong thing, by the way. That was the right thing. That was definitely the right thing. But when we got married, right, let me ask this. Men who are married, did you get much of a say in what happened at the wedding? No. Well done to the one man who dared answer the question. There are other married men here looking at their wives going, can I answer the nice man? No, we know our place. No, the one thing my wife let me plan was the first dance. She said, you can plan that. She said, I'll sort everything else out. And she did. My friends, they're all seated in the car park. For the seating plan, it's terrible. But the one thing she said, you just look after the first dance. That's your area. That's your project. Pick a ballad, any ballad from the 80s, and we'll dance to it. And I chose a lovely 80s ballad for us to dance to from U2 called I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. Beautiful song, beautiful. Really, really nice. So you live and learn, don't you? Live and learn. Let me show you. I'll show you one other thing before we go. What should we do now? We can have a couple of little possible things here. We could do a little sing. We could do one more little sing song. How long we got? We got time for another. Do you want another sing song, or do you want something different? Maybe something different might be quite. We got. Oh yeah. Now I'll tell you what. Let's do. This is quite good. This is Simon. This is Jesus calling the disciples at the start of his ministry. It was walking on water and all those that bit, all right, to the tune of Amy Winehouse, right? Well, sometimes I go out by myself for a walk across the water. And I think of all the things, what I'm doing, and in the boat I see some fishermen. 'Cause since I've come on here, well, you 12 are in a mess. And Peter, I don't care that you still are fully dressed. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over Galilee? It's the Lake Galilee, that's why it's called Galilee. That's the joke, that's the only joke in the song, that's Galilee. That's the, that's it, there's no point in doing the whole song, that's it. Just bail early, Thanks for your love and support. I'm going to go soon, but before I go, let me tell you, right, like the kids we've got, right? We've got these 2 diminutive lodgers with us for a couple of decades, children, and but the thing is, right, when we had the kids, we didn't think we could have kids. We were told it's not going to happen for us, and then surprised they did. And I don't say this sort of thing lightly because it's a big thing. Many people go through this stuff, absolutely, and it's a big part, a big story, and it deserves to be told more, I think, in people's lives. It's tricky, but it's very tricky to talk about. But in our case, I grew up thinking I couldn't have kids. And this is because of my whole belly buttonlessness, wonky bladder, all that sort of stuff. And instead, I spent a lot of my childhood just being a bit of a geek and a bit of a nerd, and I think I deliberately did that. I think I eschewed all the sporty stuff, and I thought, I'm just going to be the geeky guy, right? I set up Lunchtime Maths Club. Lunchtime Maths Club. There ain't no party like a Maths Club party, I can tell you that. We were crazy. We had 100 members at Maths Club, 100 members, but that's binaries, it's 4. And we had lunchtime film club as well. Yeah, lunchtime film club, all the geeky films. We met in room 42 because according to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Yeah, so I was that guy for some time, and I still am. But and then we had kids, right? And I don't know if there's any little message in here that maybe explains something about, I don't know, if you, sometimes in life you go through, you know, bad stuff and you feel like you're walking through undergrowth, but you can sometimes look back and see there was a path there that you've been walking all along, but you just couldn't see it because of the undergrowth, you know what I mean? So when we had the kids, they've got the geekiest birth dates possible, right? And it just really suits me as a maths and a film geek that one's got the maths geeky birthday and one has got the film geeky birthday. And I'll explain what I mean, right, via the slides, right? So first of all, that's my daughter. Well, we took her to Alton Towers on the roller coaster, as you can see. And third time around, she loved it. We should have joined her. But so she has got, this is genuinely true, she has got the geekiest birthday of the year in terms of films. Now, can anyone guess or tell me what they think the geekiest film was? May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Star Wars Day. Yes, Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you, you see. You could have May the 6th. Doesn't work quite as well. But no, she was born on Star Wars Day. On Star Wars Day, I got to say, I am your father. Great fun. The midwife said, you've got to name her something, you know, Star Wars-y, like Leia or Chewbacca or something. We didn't, would have been weird. But R2 has a brother. So that's a big brother. He's older than that now. He's 10 now, but you know he's had jam on his face for the last 7 years, right? So that's in him in his younger, cuter days, and he's very sweet. But he's got the maths geek birthday, right? And this is all about the due date, right? So when you're expecting, they give you a due date, and it's completely arbitrary. It's kind of, you know, roughly calculated. In fact, this is true. If you're in France, the due date is a week later because they calculate it differently in France. Do you know that's completely true? I think because in France they allow for the strikes or something. I don't know, but it is true. That's a true setup. You know, fake punchline. But no. So the due date for him was the 1st of October 2010. Right, 1-10-10 01 1010. Binary baby. Oh yes. And no one was more excited than me. My wife was like you good people going like, what? So there we were in the birthing suite, and I broke out the PowerPoint presentation. And you've got to have it ready for these moments, you see. So basically in binary, it's all zeros and ones, right? So 0, 0, 1 is 1, but for number 2, in decimal, we count in decimal because of 10 fingers. You go to the second number made up of ones and zeros, so it's 10 in binary, because 10's the second number made up of ones and zeros. So 11's the third, and then you jump to 100, because that's the fourth number made up of ones and zeros. Does that vaguely make sense? Good. Right, next lesson. Okay, here we go. Come on then, right. We won't do the lot. I've just put this here to demonstrate if you had a due date 1st of October 2010, 1-10-10, 01 1010, as promised, as planned, that would be 26 in decimal. That's what we would be looking at if he was born on time. But he was late. And it didn't happen, but it would have been a good story if it had, wouldn't it? So let's pretend that it did. And no one's more gutted than me. My wife was there saying, look, I'm not even in labour yet. It's going to be another week at least. We might as well go home, all that sort of thing. And he was over a week late, in fact. A week and 2 days late. 9 days late he was. Not born on the 1st, as I've been rooting for, but born on the 10th, which is even better. Look at that for a birthday. Ooh. Now that is a geeky birthday, right? That is the geekiest birthday of all time, in fact. Better than 111. Oh, yes, much better than 111. You might think 111 is the geekiest birthday. No, I'll tell you why. Because 10-10-10 is not only binary, it's a series, a pattern. It looks good, it sounds good, it feels good. My son loves IT and coding. His birthday is coding, basically. Not only that, if you want more evidence that somehow there was maybe some sort of plan behind this maths geek and film geek kind of thing, kind of baby, then actually if you go back and translate that from binary into decimal, you get 42, it turns out, which is, of course, the answer to life, the universe, and everything. So he's that, and she's that. So there you go. So, well, thank you very much. Well, you stuck with that one, didn't you? It was a thinker for a little while there. You go, where in the world is this going? But there you go. Now, let me tell you the plan. Right, so there's going to be a break in a minute, and Gareth will introduce the break and tell you where to go. I mean, in a nice way, tell you where to go. I don't want to tell you where to go, you know. He's going to tell you where to go. And then after the break, then Andy's going to come on and do his comedy set, which is fantastic. And then Andy's going to do, I think it's an interview after the end of the show. And I'm not. I'm going to go in a minute after this. So any questions? Good. Okay. Well, that's fine. No further questions for Kerensa. That's fine. But think of questions now for Andy, or don't, because Gareth has them. So, but you can psychically beam them to him. But in the words of my ex-girlfriend, I'm gonna leave you now. But call me. I hope we can still be friends. And I'll tell you this about my ex-girlfriend just before we go, and she's lovely. My ex-girlfriend, right? She used to wear these like camouflage sort of outfits, you know, kind of trendy ex-army sort of look. And eventually, I had to say to her, "Look, I'm sorry, I can't see you anymore." I said, "But trust me, girls like you are very hard to find, really." I don't know where she is now, but I didn't know where she was then. So that's one of those things, isn't it? But this has been lovely and great to, I would say two things. Firstly, great to be able to gather again, but equally, I know that we have a few people who are watching via, this is a hybrid gig, do you know that? There are a couple of people, I think 2 or 3 people, who are isolating still at home or quarantining, whatever you call it, self-bubbling, is that a thing? No, that's when you turn a bath into a jacuzzi, isn't it? Who are at home. So I don't know which way the camera's up there. So hello, should we all say hello people at home? Hello people at home, hello. Don't know where you are in the ether, hello. Oh, that's not going to work, it's my back. But we wish you well, and so, you know, because we're getting there, aren't we? We're getting there, but, you know, we've still got to be careful and cautious and all that, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be all right. Just play it cool, Trig. Play it cool, and that'll be lovely. I should have left the stage about 3 minutes ago. That was the big laugh, wasn't it, really? So I've got to do another hour now to build up to the next one. It's unfortunate. But let's end with a pub joke. Now that pubs are open again, now that jokes can be told again, let's have a pub joke. I should say I've got various online things as well. I do on Facebook Live thing. If anyone fancies, you know, on a Monday lunchtime, I'm just bored, still doing that. And we're all, and Andy and I are on. We're very you know, we're tweetable and things. We're out there and we just make friends, please. You know, that'd be nice. Pub joke, right? Man walks into a bar, right? You go, man walks into a bar, and he goes up to the barman. He says, "All right, mate, I could do with a laugh. Is there any comedy around here?" And the barman says, "Well, if you go up to the church up the road, right, St. Luke's, they've got a comedy thing on there tonight, right?" So the bloke goes in, he says, "All right, I'm here for the comedy." They say, "Great, we'll put you on first. You've got about 45 minutes. He says, "No, I didn't mean it like that. I wanted to just watch some..." That's a true story. God bless you. Be well. Good night. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers.
Thanks, Paul. So good. So good. Well, a round of applause again for Paul Kerensa. Paul, thank you. So we're going to take a sort of 15-minute break back around about past. Not that you, I mean, I don't know where you've got to go. I mean, you could go to the toilet. There'll probably be a big queue. If you are walking around, please do wear your masks. That would be fab. If you need a fag break, obviously go out the front of the building. This is a no-smoking building, if that's possible. And if you need a bottle opener, if you've arrived and you've not got a corkscrew bottle opener or anything like that, I've got a spare one. So anyone need a bottle opener? I mean, I'm not giving it away. It's just if you need it for your bottles. No, I haven't got a glass, and I haven't got any red wine. What is going on in this church? You'd think there would be enough red wine in an Anglican church, wouldn't you? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. What? It's not... Oh. Oh, it's a Merlot. All right. Merlot. Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Susan. Susan, lovely scarf. Lovely scarf. Lovely scarf. You've done your hair this evening, haven't you? Lovely hair. Lovely hair. So, if you've not met Susan yet, she's our church treasurer. She is locking the doors, and she's got an offering plate. And you've basically got to pay to leave the church. Otherwise, you might find yourself here on a Sunday morning. I'm not preaching this Sunday, so you'll be pleased to hear that, the regulars. Anyway. So there's a toilet break, 15 minutes, and we'll be back with Andy Kind. Thank you very much. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. I don't get any money from this evening, and my glass is empty, so if anyone's got anything like a Merlot hanging around or... No. Oh, I can help myself, thank you very much. Very good. The vicar's walking tonight, so that's great. Lovely, jubbly. Thank you very much. Well, it's good, isn't it? It's good to be able to be together, good to be able to laugh and all of that. I'm really excited about our next comic this evening. Andy Kind, he's been on ITV, he's been on Channel 4. He might have been on Channel 4+1, Channel 5, you never know. So are you ready for more? Great, brilliant. Well, keep drinking because, you know, might help the laughter and all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome for Andy Kind. There we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please keep clapping until I'm at least in the centre of the stage. Thank you. Very nice. Woo! Oh, it's nice. Oh, my goodness. It's so nice to be doing comedy again after 18 months. I don't really remember how to do it, but I'm sure we'll work it out as we go along. Are you all well? Have you had a nice time so far? It's nice that you're a very attractive audience, aren't you? Very southern. Is it quite a posh place around here? It feels quite posh. No. Bear in mind, I live in Moss Side in Manchester. If you go outside with your trousers on, you're upper class. So, my name's Andy. Just to get an idea of what I'm going to talk about tonight, put your hands up if you've either seen me before or if you haven't. Just give me an idea of... So not everyone. We've got my stunt doubles turned up. Look at this very handsome man. Stand, look at you, beautiful. Lovely big hands. If I get into a fight, well, yeah, look, what are those? Wow, I've not seen hands like that since pictures of, like, mining disasters and things like that. Well, you can sit down now, sir, but we'll carry on talking. Bear in mind, this is only my 4th gig since things came back, so I've forgotten how to talk to people. So if I a little bit overbearing, I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to make friends, but, you know, just forgive me. This is a lovely church, by the way. I'll come back to you in a minute. What's your name? Steve. Good name. I would have guessed it Steve, actually, or Keith. Good name for a man. What's that behind that curtain? Is that the big reveal at the end? Is that the baptismal pool in case, like, it goes really well tonight? Joint Christmas and birthday present for the drummer, probably somewhere behind there. Nice, lovely setup. Thank you. Lovely backdrop. Great backdrop. Really good. I've been wondering what to do with my toddler beds once the girls grow out of them as well. So, thanks for the tip off. New and used. I'll just turn that phone off because the battery doesn't run down. Is this water for me or hand sanitizer? Try it. Wow. It's water, yeah. Thank you, Heather. Try it. To insert an element of jeopardy into the night. Well, his diction really decreased throughout the gig, but he was so hygienic. That's great. I love... what? Clean jokes? Oh, wow. Look how impressed you were with yourself. I was like, yes, well, if you need a third act, I'm here. What's your name? I'm guessing at Maureen. Alison. Oh, very nice. And and this is a husband of yours? This is your husband? Sorry, it's not. I was doing a Mormon comedy night the other week. I just got confused. That only really works with wives, though, doesn't it? I got it wrong theologically. And what's your name? Sorry. Mick. Mick. Yeah. Okay. Steve and Mick. Very good. And Mick, what do you do with yourself? I don't mean when the curtains are closed, Mick. You haven't been out in public for a while either, have you? But that's the police's choice and not Mick's. You're retired now. That's lovely. What's been your highlight of the pandemic? I think we've all got a highlight of the pandemic. Mine was seeing all my earnings reduced to 0 in about a week. That was my highlight. That was the joke. A clean one as well. Sometimes it isn't a clean joke when I talk about that. Go on, Mick. What's been your highlight of the pandemic? Don't worry, Steve. We're coming back to you, mate. And I'll be asking you what your favourite topping on a pizza is, so just have that in mind. Self-isolation has been your highlight? Wow. They call him Mick the Padded Cell. Very good, Mick. Very good. I love, there's something just incredibly reassuring about old Anglican churches, isn't there? Whatever like your worldview, I just think there's something really reassuring. It's just so nostalgic. I just love being in places like this. Like, probably my second favourite childhood memory is sort of old Anglican churches. I just love it. I'm just happy to be here. Favourite childhood memory, probably probably having hair. But after that, Anglican churches. And you're drinking tonight, Steve. What are you drinking tonight? Coca-Cola. Don't worry, Steve. You're driving. No, that's good. You don't. I'm not the police. You don't have to kind of. By the way, because I haven't seen this many people apart from in my dreams for about 2 years, can I get us a selfie? Can I do a selfie? It's not, I won't put it on Instagram. I just have to let HMRC know that I'm back doing this. So, some of you look like you're having a nice time. It only has to be some of you. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. So I live in Moss Side in Manchester, and obviously everyone's very excited now the pandemic's over. So the police, everyone's going a little bit overboard with the celebrating. So the police, Greater Manchester Police, are clamping down on the binge drinking, Steve. And the way they're doing this is with a poster campaign, because that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? First thing you do when you're hammered, you read something, don't you? That makes loads of sense. I'm so wasted. Where's War and Peace? I'll just do the first couple of chapters, probably. You go into any bar or pub in Manchester and you'll see that the police have put these posters up aimed at stopping binge drinking once and for all. And what these posters say is as follows: warning, alcohol and violence is a dangerous combination. Now, that might very well be true, but surely anything and violence is a dangerous combination. Knitting and violence. Knit one, pearl one, stab one in the eye. Well, I'm so happy. I keep reiterating how happy I am to be here, but it's not a ploy. It just is a genuine realization of how lovely it is to be back. Two dreams have come true for me in the last week. I'm back doing comedy full-time. That's dream number 1. And dream number 2, I got chased through quicksand by a saber-toothed tiger. Those are the 2 dreams that have come true for me in the last week. So I've had a bit of an odd You're the only one who liked that, but never mind. There's some new jokes in here that will probably never become old jokes. That joke I just told will never see its first birthday, I can assure you of that. But it doesn't matter. I'm really good at this. That'll come out eventually. I've had a bit of an odd day, though. It's lovely to be here. I've had a bit of an odd day. On the way here, on the way to the gig, I hit and killed a squirrel. I know. Aside from that, it was a fairly standard walk from the train station, but you've got to do something to get yourself in the mood for comedy, haven't you, Steve? That adrenaline doesn't come from nowhere. I bet you could probably take out about 4 squirrels with those hands, couldn't you, Steve? Yeah, 6. And this masked lady next to you, can you describe her to me? No, don't, sorry, just tell me who she is. Sorry, I'm not used to it. Can you describe her to me, Steve? Mick turns his chair around. Yes, describe her to me as well. Peering through his curtains. What? HMRC. Well, my name is Paul Kerensa. I can show you a selfie, but this is a friend of yours? A friend? What? Why are you whispering? We're not We're not hiding from the Nazis, Steve. It's not that bit in The Sound of Music where they're in the graveyard. I know it's the same setup, but it's not actually the same. Never seen it. Never seen The Sound of Music? He has once. Who are you? Like his PA? What's going on here? Because to be honest, the way you're seated, I know it's not the case, but the way you're seated, it looks like Wendy is your wife, and then this is a cue in case it doesn't work out. Cashier number Steve, please. And I was going to say that you guys have got the wrong cue, but it's 2021. It's not for me to judge, is it? Worst things happen at sea, don't they? I'm just going to have some of this lotion. So are you Steve's PA then? Yeah. Okay, how long have you been his PA?
Well, officially 26 years, and 34 years.
Okay, wow. So I'm hoping that we're now no longer talking about being a PA with like some kind of marriage involved there. Yeah, okay. Okay, so you were what, work experience for 8 years? That's great. And what is your name? Dorcas is a beautiful name. Tell me where that's from. Is it like Romanian or something?
No,
It's
it's biblical.
biblical.
Yeah.
Do they not have Bibles in Romania? Open doors, do some good work. Which bit of the Bible is it in?
She was a needlewoman, and he was risen from the dead. So, you know, I'm doing all right for that.
Okay, you still didn't tell me which bit. You know, because if we're talking about, if you're looking, hopefully I'll find it by looking for people to get raised from the dead. She's not going to be my first port of call in that Bible. There's at least one other guy I can think of. Oh, that's great. Dorcas the Needlewoman. Wow. I mean, it sounds more Game of Thrones than Bible, doesn't it? But we'll allow it. That's very nice. And do you and Steve have pet names for one another? So, no. No. Okay. Let's not ask what you call each other when even Wendy's nodding. Like, no, don't go there. That's why they've gagged me, so I can't say anything. Sitting there with your arms crossed like Hannibal Lecter at the front there, Wendy. Whatever you do, if Wendy heckles you, just let her. Just let her. Don't. She will hurt you. That's great. I used to. It's nice. It's just nice to find out about people. I used to call my wife Bambi. That was my nickname for my wife for a while. Bambi. You know, because she was cute and a bit clumsy, and I wanted to shoot her mum. So. Do you say is being streamed tonight? I just have to make a quick phone call. Speaking of mums, we'll ask you, Dorcas, because I've really warmed to you. I have. I know I have. I'm not cynical as a comedian. I don't love people. I want you to have a really nice time. I'm not here to make fun of anybody. You're the only reason I'm able to buy a new pair of shoes next week. It's so handy. Thank you. Tell me something that's happened in the pandemic that you are grateful for. Chocolate. Oh no, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I put on so much. You ever put on so much weight you go up a shoe size? That's what happened to me in the pandemic. And people say, so you need to start eating healthily. No, I don't think I'm going to actually, no. Not until we're way clear of this pandemic, because it might come back, so I'm going to continue having a, kebab as a joint lunch and dinner present. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. 11 a.m. kebabs, quite regular for me during the pandemic. Quite regular. Do you know what eating healthily means anyway? Like kale and stuff like that. Vegetables. No, thank you. Try a kale smoothie. No, kale tastes like it's trying to murder you. I'm not going to take. And it's not prepared to wait. It wants you dead now. I'm not going to eat healthily. I have lost some weight. I'm on the coffee diet. Have you heard of the coffee diet? No, it's quite a good one. Basically, you have a full cafetiere for breakfast, full cafetiere for lunch, and then heart palpitations and diarrhea for the rest of the day. I have lost a lot of weight and friends. So chocolate, that's good. Because this is my job. I am a comedian, and so it's true that all 18 months ago, all my work went. It was like a sci-fi film. It just went overnight, like the Mary Celeste of the arts world. It was absolutely horrible. And so, me and my family were just overnight lost all of our. Because my wife doesn't work. I don't want to talk about why she doesn't, but laziness. No, she's not. She's not lazy. She's not real. No, she is. But so, we lost everything. So we had to. This is true. I'm not feeling sorry for myself, but just telling you about my life. For a while during the pandemic, we had to move in to one of my sister's houses. So my sister, very, very wealthy, several houses. I won't go into the details, but in my mum's words, because she used her degree, Andrew. Which again is fair enough. So we had to move into one of their fully furnished, unused houses. They just had one lying around. And it was very difficult because I was sitting there one night, as everyone else had gone to bed, just sitting there looking at all the nice stuff, thinking, you know what? I could sell some of this stuff. That would really help me. They've got some nice stuff they wouldn't miss. And I had to snap out of it because, no, you're not going to do that. Because I'm a Christian. I follow Jesus. And, the Bible's very clear. Thou shalt not steal. It says that very clearly. However, in fairness, nowhere does it say, thou shalt not swap. And so I did quite a lot of that. Took the HD TV, left an Etch-a-Sketch. This is nice. If I was feeling pretentious, I'd go up here and talk about it. And that's me on there. I've disappeared from the screen. Well, spoiler. So I've got two. Did you see my leg that went then? Not used to walking around. We'll talk to this table here. Let's talk to you because you're smiling. What's your name? Janine. I wouldn't have guessed Janine, Mick. I've not got anyone's name right. Have I, Maureen? Janine. You've got a lovely treats bag, like a trough. Have you all got troughs? This is fantastic. There's very middle-class horses in here tonight. This is great. Jelly babies and twirly crisps. Janine, what do you do, Janine? But come on, Janine, be honest with us, though. What do you do?
What do I do, actually? I'm a comms manager for a charity.
You're a what manager? Oh, a comms manager. Sorry, I didn't realise how cool you were to say comms. That's how good you are at communication. You shorten words left, right, and centre. I don't have time to say the full words. I'm too busy communicating or comming or something. You're a communications manager. That's great. I'm good at communication, as you can see tonight. I'm very good at talking to people, looking people in the eye. And these are your workers. These are your slaves. They are your colleagues. I think slaves she sees you as. Definitely. And this is the head honcho at the company. This is Gavin, CEO. What's your name?
My name's Gary.
Gary! Oh, so close. There are like Darren Brown would have claimed that, definitely. Gary, yes, that's a good name for you, Gary. Well, Janine, and do you have children, Janine? You do. You have a little girl. How old is she? 4? Oh, that's great. So you're out first night. First chance you get, out you get. Yeah. It's been hard because at least you weren't having to officially homeschool. Has anyone had to homeschool during the pandemic? That's been a nightmare. I've got two girls, 8 and 4. They've both got biblical names, actually, like you. Ruth's all right with that, but Deuteronomy hates me. A needle worker, apparently. No. No, they're called Alice and Heidi, really. And gosh. I wasn't cut out for homeschooling. I'm not saying it's hard to homeschool 2 little girls during a pandemic, but one day I just said the word Candyman 5 times into a mirror just so someone else could look after them for a bit. It was disastrous. So Janine, are you past the point where have you got rid of the stair gates in your house now? Yeah. Okay, that's good. Because she walks well now. Yeah, so we just... Heidi was a bit of a late developer, walking-wise. She's got but she's walking now, so we've got rid of the stair gates in our house. We used to have 2 stair gates in our house. We'd have a stair gate at the bottom of the stairs and a stair gate at the top of the stairs, and she'd play in there for hours quite happily. Going to be a sprinter. Should see the calf muscles. One of the East Germans from the 80s. I imagine. I'm 40. I turned 40 during the pandemic. I'm literally about to die of old age. I know what you're saying. You're looking at me, Mick. Well, you're not even the oldest person here. It's kind of you to say so, Mick. Try and make me feel better. I am the oldest person here. I'm the oldest person in the world because I'm 40. How old are you, Maureen? Well, I know, but you are to me. You're not telling me, okay. Oh, sorry, sorry. Again, it's rude. I'd forgotten it's rude to ask a woman her age, isn't it? How much do you weigh? Don't worry, Maureen. Don't worry, Maureen. Yeah, so we've got 2 girls, and they're both cleverer than me. Like, they're both much cleverer than me. So Heidi's a genius. Like last Christmas, despite only being sort of 3 years old at the time, my daughter Heidi bought for me, her daddy, a bottle of 12-year-old Talisker whiskey. That's my favourite whiskey. Isn't that impressive? Isn't she clever, Steve? Yeah. I was so impressed. I was quite surprised as well because, you know, she didn't get her mum anything. So I was pretty... I've been to Maidstone before. I was thinking about it. I haven't been here before, but I've been to Maidstone before. And it was a really weird gig. It was somewhere. It wasn't in a church. It was it's like bespoke, like speakeasy comedy club type of thing. And there was this American guy came up to me because I talk about faith on stage sometimes if I want to, and I must have done at this point. And this guy came up to me, American guy. He wanted to know how sort of liberal I was with stuff. He came up to me and said, "Hey buddy, thanks for the show. Let me ask you this: are you pro-gay?" Like first question, like not even hello. He said, "Are you pro-gay?" What kind of a question to ask is that? Are you pro-gay? I'm not even amateur gay, if I'm totally honest with you. I don't play in a team. Me and Steve will have a kick around, won't we, Steve, from time to time? Bit of 3 and in. Shouldn't have said that. Bit more hand sanitizer. I tell you who's loved the pandemic. My mum. Oh, she loves it. She's turned 70. It's the role she was born to play, Mick. She loves it. She loves now that she can call herself old. Because for years, my mum has been waiting to not care what anyone says about her. She's been waiting to divest herself of any kind of social responsibility. And now she's 70. She doesn't care now. She's just going to do what she wants. And everybody else can just suffer the consequences. And she does. She loves it. I get the brunt of this. Like, I hugged my mum for the first time in a year the other week. Yeah, she lives next door. I just don't like her very much. Because, like, I brought my daughters to see her for the first time in months. First thing she says is, "Who wants to see a picture of Daddy with no clothes on?" Like, first of all, your granddaughters haven't seen you in months. There are other things you could say. Second of all, this is from a 2006 rugby tour. Where did you get this? Have you hacked my cloud somehow, you evil genius? I talked about doing stuff during lockdown. She's hoarding bath bombs. That's her thing. Just hoards bath bombs. I don't know for what war. I mean, if there is another war, it might be messy, but my mum's determined it will be at least hygienic. It's just very weird. She loves telling me, because she's at the age now where most of my conversations with my mum start with her telling me about people I've barely met who are nevertheless now dead. She loves that. She loves to tell me who's dead. Like, I told you Dr. Reynolds was dead, didn't I? It was the first thing you mentioned on Christmas morning. Yes, we have been over this. Thank you for telling me. It was her birthday I wanted to do something nice because my sister did something nice, the very wealthy one. My sister bought my mum an iPhone. Now, my mum didn't need an iPhone. She didn't need an iPhone. She was quite happy with the Nokia 3310 she's had since the year 2001. Because my mum only needs a phone for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, to call my grandmother to see if she's still alive. And reason number 2, to play Snake. Those are the only 2 reasons my mum needs a phone. Well, I didn't need an iPhone, but my sister, because she's really flash, and again, you to a degree, got her this iPhone. And this is a problem for me, because you know what an iPhone is. This is an iPhone here, lovely big screen, lovely big camera. And the problem is, she's got this iPhone, it's got a camera on it. She's never had a camera phone before. And I'm the one who bears the brunt of this, because what it means now that my mum's got an iPhone is that every day, several times a day, my mum will send me what she will call selfies, but what anyone here would call photos with her not in them. You see? She has zero idea what the terminology means. The first day she got her iPhone, she and Dad went to Warwick Castle. Have you been there to see the peacocks and the pageantry, the knights and the jousting? She rings me up from Warwick Castle. It flashes up on my phone, do not answer. That's what my mum is registered as in my phone. Still, I took the bait. Said, hello. She said, hello, son. It's me, your mum, Lynn Kind. I said, thank you for those 2 additional clues as to your identity. I wasn't going to work it out. She said, big day for me, son. I'm about to send you my first ever selfie. Stay tuned. Had no idea what that meant. So I just looked at my phone. 9.5 minutes later, this photo comes through. It is a picture of one of the Warwick Castle peacocks. That's not a selfie. It's not. If anything, my mum looks more like an otter. It's not a selfie. I rang her back and said, Mum, this isn't a selfie. This, to be clear, is a picture of a peacock. Genuinely, my mum said, yes, that's right. I took it my selfie. No, that's not what it means. That's what all pictures are. So I wanted to go like for like. So I decided I would take my mum on holiday. She wanted to go to Venice, but again, I've lost all my earnings, so she should just be grateful it wasn't Butlin Skegness. In the end, I took her to Brussels in Belgium for the weekend, yeah. And I checked TripAdvisor. I thought I'd do the research. I checked TripAdvisor to decide where we would go. Now, you all know TripAdvisor. I checked TripAdvisor, and there's loads of bad reviews on TripAdvisor. The worst ones seem to be centralized on Brussels in Belgium. So I'm going to read you. You can check these out online. You can read them later if you want to. These are all bona fide. I'll read you 3 genuine reviews on TripAdvisor for hotels in Brussels. You've got the review, then the star rating out of 5, all written by ladies, Maureen. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Okay. First one written, I imagine, Dorcas, by a businesswoman in her late 20s, early 30s. I'll just get into character. Perfect, here we go. 3 genuine reviews for hotels in Brussels on TripAdvisor. I was travelling alone. I checked in, and a man on the stairs offered to carry my bags. I presumed he was a porter. It wasn't until he entered my room and suggested that we have a bath together that I had my doubts. Still only doubts at this point. Still giving him the benefit, but I said, don't put cold in first, you moron. Suddenly, it struck me, this was no porter. Oh, well done, Sherlock. I alerted the concierge, who looked mortified, and went searching for the man with a fire extinguisher and some nearby cutlery he'd recently finished polishing. Apparently, it was the 4th time this week something like this had happened. 1 star. So that's the first one. 1 star. Fair enough. Slightly on the generous side, if you ask me. This is the second one. Different lady, different hotel, same website. I unlocked the door to my bedroom to find an elderly gentleman lying on my bed, talking to a dog with no clothes on. You're absolutely right. It's not clear at this point which one of them doesn't have the clothes on. Fear not, she's about to clear it up. This was unacceptable. The hotel website specifically said, no dogs. Because that's the thing to fret about, isn't it? The stray pet. Not Mr. Nudie Rudy splayed on the bed. 1 star there as well, you won't be surprised to hear. This is my favourite one. This is written by a lady in her 70s. A lady in her 70s, same sort of age as my mum, from Derbyshire. Okay, bear in mind, she's in Brussels. This hotel misled me into believing that it was in Paris. Presumably she's gone all that way. A hotel in Belgium should have a Belgian name, not a French one. My husband was most disappointed and has since died. Doesn't say whether it's as a result of the disappointment. You know, died of a broken heart. The weirdest thing of all, she finishes with, overall, 3 stars. 3 stars! It's a very generous review. So I said I lived in Moss Side in Manchester, and there's a lot of good community stuff going on there now. There's currently now a Christian bakery has been set up. A Christian bakery, and it's been in the news, but it's been in the news because of the name it's been given. There's no controversy over it, it's just been given I don't know how they came up with the name. I'm going to give you, as an audience, 3 guesses to guess what they've called this Christian bakery. When you don't get it right, which you won't, I'll tell you what they've actually called it. So just think laterally, lots of bread-based puns in the Bible. So just think, come on, what would you call, just put your hands up and shout stuff out. What would you call a Christian bakery? Have a guess. Don't all go at once, though. What would you call a Christian? Mick, what would you call a Christian bakery? Think of it. Just hot cross buns is a great starter for 10. Well done, you. It's not right, but that's a great. Well done. You're thinking laterally. Hot cross buns. Come on, other ideas. What you got? Dough's risen. Dough's risen again. You probably need a double frontage for that, though, don't you? I mean, the overheads are stacking up there. That's a good guess. Yes. Father's Pride, that's more of an ale. That's a microbrewery, really, so -1 point. Any others? Go on, just some more obvious ones you might go for. Go on. Croissant. Oh, very nice, like a French bakery. Well, you're not too far away. It's, again, not good. And then, obviously, you've got things like daily bread and bread of heaven and these are the stunning ones. The Christian bakery in Moss Side is actually called Baguette Behind Me Satan. I didn't say it was a popular bakery, did I? I just told you it was a bakery. I'm having such a lovely time with you people. Thanks so much. If I'm a bit rusty, I don't feel too rusty. If I'm a bit rusty, I'm sorry, but I'm having such a lovely time. It's so wonderful to be with people who aren't my mum. I just come from a mad family. My grandmother's mad. She's 94. She's mad. I went, like, the most exciting thing that happened to me during the pandemic, I went round to my grandmother's house. She said, I've fallen out with Cassandra. She won't talk to me. I said, okay, well, I'm sorry about that. She said, well, I need you to sort it. Well, I can't sort it. She said, I need you to fix it. So who do you think I am? Like, I'm not Denzel Washington in some kind of film. Like, I can't. She said, no, Cassandra won't talk to me, and you need to fix it. I said, just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I'm not Jesus. Like, what do you want me to do? She said, well, fix it. I said, okay, well, where is she then? Like, where did she? I'll go. Which flat is she in? She said, no, she's just over there on the table. What? Looked over. Alexa. It's called Alexa. No wonder she's not talking to you. Cassandra. True. I said, who's Cassandra? She said, I don't know a Cassandra. And it's not her fault. She's 94, and I love her, and she's great. She's great. But she's stopped understanding. She stopped knowing the meanings of words, really. So she said she's a big fan of Boris Johnson, and lots of people are. She said, I'm a big fan of that Boris. I don't know why she's called it Boris. Big fan of that Boris. Just true. She said, I like him. He's a nice young lad. And he said, the only thing I don't like about him, he's a bit of a necrophiliac. I said, he's a bit of a necrophiliac. You know, he thinks a lot of himself. Narcissist, I think you mean. I don't think anyone's calling him a necrophiliac. Although I don't read The Guardian, so I don't know, do I? Also, notice how she said, a bit of a necrophiliac. Let's not ask which bit. So I come from a military family as well. My dad was in the army. My granddad was. My granddad was wounded by a German on holiday in Alicante in the 1980s. Emotionally wounded, really. He was wearing Bermuda shorts. He didn't have the knees for it. This German guy was quite cruel, as you know, as they can be. But I love my granddad, and he died recently. That's again, he was very old. So I want to, it's okay to talk about these things. So I'm going to tell you my favourite thing that happened was just before he died, the Christmas before he died, the Christmas before the pandemic. We all got together as a family, as we did every year, and I'd been given for my PlayStation 4, because I'm an overgrown child, Call of Duty World War II, which is a computer game you play as a video game. You play as a British soldier from the Second World War. You go around doing all these missions. Now, my granddad fought in the war, so I thought this would be a great opportunity for him and I to bond over some fond memories. So he came looking for me. He said, Granddad, look at this. Do you want to have a go? He looks at the screen. He says, you know I'm 92 years old, don't you? I said, yes, I do. He said, so of course I'd like to have a go, yes. He sits down with the PlayStation controllers. At this moment, a German soldier appears, animated, pixelated on the screen. True story. My granddad, who fought in the Second World War, sees the German soldier, points directly at the screen and just says, oh, hello there, Jerry. Guess who's back? It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It got even better. Because at the end, he had this very bad sort of chest infection. And I said, Grandad, let me get you, save you going downstairs, let me get you your cough medicine. You stay here, I'll go and get your cough medicine. Just play around on this game. My granddad was always quite a serious man, but as I left the room to get him some cough medicine, I overheard from him probably the single best pun I've ever heard in my entire life. I go downstairs to get him some cough medicine. I overhear him say, yes, 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 I'll stay here. We shall fight them on the Beechams. On the Beechams! 92, perfect. Perfection. Cassandra, who calls people Cassandra? So I did, what else have you done during the pandemic? What's your name? Lucy. I used to go out with someone called Lucy. It wasn't you though, don't worry. This is not a shakedown. So tell me, what did you do in the pandemic, Lucy?
Spent a lot of time on Zoom.
In the zoo? Oh, on Zoom. Sorry, I was going to say, what, you were caged up last March and they forgot? You've gone native. Okay, yeah, a lot of time on Zoom. That was terrible, didn't it? Yeah. Did you get to know anyone that you hadn't known previously?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. More from Lucy later. In the highlights package, 10:30 tonight. No, it's good. There have been some good bits. I got to sort of get to know my neighbours a little bit more. So we're quite close now. This week had a water fight with the neighbours' children. Yeah, it's quite nice. I won, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, I was losing at first, but that's because I was waiting for the kettle to boil. But in the end, I did. I did best them in the end. Scarface and the Elephant Man, as they're now called. I like to travel by train because I don't have a very nice car. It does 0 to 60, but that's about the most you can say about it. But I like to travel by train. I was doing a gig in London recently, and you've got those, those Pendolinos now, haven't they? The very fast ones, the Pendolinos with the futuristic toilets. You know the ones I mean, with the sliding doors that go. Boo. Very futuristic. Have you seen these, Mick? Oh, you need to get out more. Which I was going to say anyway, but definitely now. You've got these toilets. And you go into these toilets, and you'll see, when you're on the inside, there's 3 buttons that you can press. You can press open, you can press close, you can also press lock. Now, call me old-fashioned, but both my daughters work in the mill, and I've got polio. No, that's not what I meant to say at all. Sometimes my mind will just splice off in weird directions. Call me old-fashioned, but you could probably merge the close button with the lock button into a single button, and no one would mind, would you? You could probably just have it as one button. Anyway, I'm going down to London from Manchester Piccadilly. I decide I need to go to the toilet. I go to the toilet. I press open. The person inside has only pressed close. The most harrowing 5 seconds of my entire life. As the door goes... Just a 60-year-old businessman in a suit sitting there like this. And I'm over there, he's refusing to make eye contact with me. And I don't know what to do. Again, I haven't spoken to anybody in a year and a half. I was just like, do you know the way to the buffet car? He looks up at me at this point, he says, well, it's not through here. No, I've managed to work that out, thank you. So I've got my 2 girls, Alice 8, Heidi 4. Alice, very much like me, very much similar to me, whereas Heidi is based on the 1996 Robin Williams film Jumanji. That's what she's based on. Just absolutely, she's Godzilla. She's absolutely crazy. I'll tell you what, going back to Alexa or Cassandra, or whatever you want to call it, and Spotify and things like that, it's a problem for me with this new generation of children because it means that they can listen to any music that they want. I was hoping that a lot of the music that has been in the past would never be inflicted upon my daughters. Like One Direction, for instance. Were you a big fan of One Direction, Mick? Yeah. Like, I was confident that they would never have to listen to this because they missed it, but no. Now they can just say, Alexa, play boy band playlist or whatever. And so, like, my daughter Alice, 8, she knows all the One Direction songs. This is a problem for me because it's stupid. They got the worst one. They got the one song that went, whoa, you don't know you're beautiful, and that's what makes you beautiful. Do you remember that, Wendy? You don't know you're beautiful, and that's what makes you beautiful. No, it isn't. Sorry, I want my daughters listening to this absolute tripe. There is absolutely zero link between, on the one hand, the epistemological apprehension of beauty, and on the other hand, the ontological reality of actually being beautiful. It's basic philosophy, Zane. What's the matter with you? It's absolutely stupid. Some of you look confused. If you're confused, let me clarify for you. Let me use the same formula for a different sentence and see if this makes any sense. Whoa, you don't know that you're a cat. That's what makes you a cat. No, it's not. It's absolutely ridiculous. Also, do we have any single young men? There's a very handsome man here. What, with the, no, yes, you with the, not you, sir, and I think you knew that. The sort of steampunk Mr. Tumnus here, the third one in. What's your name, sir? Josh, you're very handsome. Have we met before? Yeah, me, you, and Steve were there. I thought it was. Yeah, it was dark, wasn't it? But yeah, it was definitely you. I like your jokes. I liked it, Josh, but you've lost the room. Josh, what do you do, first of all? No, I don't mean now. What are you doing now? Like, well, I'm hoping to enjoy myself. Are you a student? No, I work. You work? Yeah. Are you sure? How old are you? 27. You're 27? You're not 27. Come on, Josh, I'm not selling fireworks. You can be honest with me. Come on, I've got no cigarettes behind the stage. You're 27. Well, what do you work as? Property restoration. Do you need a comms manager? Because we've got Janine over here. She's really good. Yes? No, you don't need a comms manager. Very good. So did you go to university? No. Wow. You're just like a self-made man. You pity me for thinking that you're a self-made man. Your level of discernment is bad. And who are you with tonight then, Josh? Family and loved ones, not necessarily the same category. My granddad, I told you that my granddad died, and he died surrounded by his loved ones, which is about the most you can say, isn't it? We were in a Toby Carvery at the time, so it wasn't that reassuring. I was in the army for 6 weeks. I sort of lost my thread a little bit. It was your fault, Steve. I was in the army for 6 weeks, and I left after 6 weeks. I went to Sandhurst and left after 6 weeks for a number of reasons. I didn't want to be in it, and I wouldn't have been very good. One of the reasons I decided to leave was during week 6, during a perfectly routine nighttime training ambush, I gave away my position and the position of my platoon by doing a massive fart. This genuinely happened to me. That wasn't the worst bit, nor was it, in fact, the bit that gave away our position. No. What gave away our position wasn't the fact that I farted, but the fact that as soon as I farted, then I started laughing. That was what gave away our position to the men with guns. So at the end of the course, as everyone else is being commissioned, I've been given my, discharge papers, appropriately titled, I'm sure you'll agree. And at the top of the discharge form, under major faults, the colonel had written, lack of genuine leadership potential, which was fair enough. I would have made a terrible leader. What wasn't fair enough was that at the bottom of the form, under other comments, the colonel had written, ill-timed use of chemical warfare. Very harsh, if you ask me. Very harsh. So I did... family and loved ones. So the lady to your right is your auntie. Very good. That's no wonder you want to show her off. No one's auntie looks like this. Congratulations on having an auntie like that. Yeah. Auntie, what's your name? Bex. Auntie Bex, it gets even better. You'd be a good auntie as well, Janine. Do you have any siblings? What time's it going to move on? Yeah, come on. None of us are getting younger. I'm 40. I'm about to die. I've got maximum 6 weeks left to live. I'm the guy who lost the city of Atlantis in the first place. That's how old I am. Bex, did you go to university? No. Is it not a Maidstone thing to go to university? Are you all just landed gentry? We don't need degrees. We have houses, you know. Some of you must have gone to university, though. Dorcas, come on, you went to university. Have you all been trapped in this room for the last 50 years? I wondered why there was such a captive audience. Put your hand up if you went. I just want to talk to someone who went to university. Here we go. Very laconic, languid man. Here we go. Your name, sir? Barry. Oh, slightly deeper voice than I was expecting, Barry. Barry is my name. And I'll fight anyone who disagrees. We could get you together with Gary and we could have like a crime-fighting duo taking on the gangs of Maidstone, although again it's quite a posh area, so I imagine there isn't much crime around here. Is there crime? Oh, don't talk. Crime? Let's tell you about the crime, Andy. The price of pan au chocolat. Absolutely preposterous. The lack of a proper lawn bowls league. Criminal. So, Barry, what did you do at university?
I'm a teacher.
Great. Oh, you did education. And where are you from originally, Barry?
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire? Which part of Yorkshire? Hull. Hull, yeah. Kingston upon Hull. I've been to Hull.
Did you like it?
Well, did I like it? Let me put it this way. I drove in and at one point, even my sat-nav said, shall we just go home? It's that sort of... Put it that way.
Well, Barry the teacher. So I did French at university.
Well, it's not. It's been a complete waste of time. It has. I basically spent 4 years learning how to shrug. That's a 2-1, what you just saw there. They're idiots. I'm not jingoistic or nationalistic, but the people I met were idiots. Because that's all, whatever you ask them. Excuse, like, je sais pas. Excuse me, is there a supermarket near here? Je sais pas. Is there a museum? Je sais pas. Can you do an impression of a slightly depressed horse? No. The best thing that can happen to you when you are abroad, so I spent a year living in France, and the best thing that can happen to you is you get mistaken for a native. You want to be so good at speaking their language they think you're one of them. So I've been there for 6 months. I was in this shop chatting away to the guy behind the counter in French. After a while he says, tell me then, my friend, which part of France are you from? Because it was Arsene Wenger, the former Arsenal manager. It wasn't, but that's my French accent based purely on watching post-match interviews on Match of the Day for so many years. Anyway, Arsene says, which part of France are you from? I got so excited. I thought, finally, after being here for 6 months, I'm so good now at speaking this language. They think I'm one of them. I became quite smug and British, as we're wont to do, Gary. I said, sorry to break the news to you, my friend. I am actually English. Did you not know that? Arsene said, no. I thought you were French, but maybe a bit retarded. True story. Literally, what a waste of time. The only legacy, the only positive legacy of having done French at university is that now, every so often at a party, I'll be able to correct someone's pronunciation of a cheese. And that is it. Yeah, it's the same with you. So, excuse me, I think you'll find it's pronounced cheddar, just to let you know. Je vous en prie. So we've done quite well for time. What's going to happen in a minute, we'll get there's 4 toddlers who are yet to go to sleep, so we need to get those. It's 9:30. So I'll do one more thing, and then Gareth will come up and bring me back on, and we'll have a little chat, and then we can all go home. Not together, Steve. Sorry about that, mate. Not enough room for everyone in the van with your hands, to be honest. Although we could get a Giants car and you'd be perfect for that. Wow. If you get a chance at the end, look at Steve's hands. Honestly. The best hands I've ever seen, Steve. And you can take that to the bank. So, I'll tell you I'll tell you one story about Alice. And so we live in my side of Manchester, and Alice, she came home from school recently, and she said, we called her Alice, really, so the first 8 years of fancy dress parties would take care of themselves. You know, we almost called her Adele. That was quite a popular name. We almost called her Adele after my laptop. But we didn't. It didn't in the end. I'm so glad also that they're largely past the Peppa Pig stage. Are you still mid-Peppa Pig stage, are you? No, good. Yeah, I'm so glad. There's only one good episode of Peppa Pig. It's the season finale, the last one they made. Do you ever seen that one, Janice, where Peppa and her family get tricked into attending a hog roast? Have you seen that one? Absolutely delicious. Harrowing for the children, but who cares? Who cares? I'm 40. So, Alice comes home from school recently. This is a true story, I promise you. I haven't embellished this. She said, Daddy, tomorrow at school is Pirate Day. I've got to dress as a pirate. I said, that's great. That's next to giving me sass. That's your favourite thing to do, dressing up, isn't it? She said, yes, Daddy. You've got to dress as a pirate as well, though. All the mummies and daddies have. I said, oh, no. I said, I'm not going to. Sorry. I'm not going to dress as a pirate. I don't like dressing up. She said, but last week you dressed as a tramp. I said, no, I didn't, and I'm now really worried that that's how I come across. Vagabond chic, modelled by Andy Kind. So I didn't want to dress as anything really, but I thought I could see the look of just hope in her eyes, Ginny. So I thought, okay, fine, go to bed. I'll stay up as long as I need to, fashioning myself a pirate costume. So I did. Stayed up till 3 a.m. fashioning myself a makeshift pirate costume. I made a cutlass out of cardboard, a hat out of felt. I got an eye patch from the bottom of a toy box, a leather jacket from Primark, cost me £3.15, cut the arms off, made this weird kind of waistcoat. Looked in the mirror at 3 a.m. I was absolutely shattered, but I looked amazing, right? I also looked like what would have happened if the village people had brought on a sub. I looked a little bit like that. Alice gets up in the morning. She says, Daddy, will you paint my face like a pirate? I said, yes, I will. This is going to be a great day. She said, I'll paint your face. She paints my face like a clown. I said, why have you done that? She said, well, to be honest, Daddy, I didn't want you to get to school and scare all the other children how scary a pirate you were. I said, yeah, you're right, Alice, because actually, let's be honest, there's nothing more reassuring for 7-year-olds than the sight of a clown wielding a sword, is there? It just takes the edge off that, doesn't it? Very reassuring. Anyway, so if I can be serious for one moment, I don't like to be serious. You live for these moments. Probably one of the best moments to date of my life. Walking hand in hand with my little girl, the half-mile through Moss Side in Manchester. She's looking up at me. She's beaming up at me. She's so excited. She can't wait to get to school. I'm looking down at her. I love her. Her smile is like the rising sun. I'm so proud of her, and also I'm so proud to be her daddy. And frankly, I'm proud of myself, because for the first time in my life, I have let my yes be yes. I have gone the extra mile. I have done more than the bare minimum. I am a good, good father. That's who I am. And then, it wasn't Pirate Day because she'd made the whole thing up. She totally invented it. And it wasn't her fault. She's 8. That's what 8-year-olds do. They use their imagination. Another word for that is lying. But it wasn't her fault. It was my fault. I should have known it wasn't Pirate Day. If I thought about it for 20 seconds, I would have known it wasn't Pirate Day, Gary, because where we live, it's never Pirate Day. Because as I've told you several times, we live in Moss Side in Manchester. It is a largely Somali area. It is never Pirate Day. If it had been Pirate Day, Mickey would have already heard about it, because I would have been on the news and also dead. Anyway, there's so much that I wanted to say, I've forgotten to say or haven't had time to fit in. But this has been my absolute joy, privilege, and pleasure. Thank you so much for listening to me. I'll be back in just a few seconds' time. But for now, thank you for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening's kind of like almost up, but not yet. So why don't we welcome back Andy Kind. Have you brought your GCSE kind of physics?
Yeah, well, Barry wanted to mark some stuff, so I brought it.
Great, excellent. Yeah. Andy, thank you. Great.
Thank you. And can I say, first of all, very handsome for a vicar. Second of all, like, the way you guys have run this night has been absolutely amazing, particularly Heather, the volunteer, who has done so much. So can we have a round of applause for Heather, because she's nailed it. And she's just like, I arrived about 4 p.m. this afternoon, and she was on it from the start. She showed me into the green room. She brought me sandwiches. She made me coffee. She just so well. She said, just let me know if you have any problems. I said, well, as a child, my dad never really said, well done. She said, no, I just meant if you wanted another coffee. So I haven't really spoken since then. It got quite awkward. But just amazing woman. So thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Now, one of the things that we're clearly in a church, and there's a bit of a kind of like theme.
You are clearly a church.
We are. Well, and it's not falling down, which is great news. And we've talked a little bit, and Paul mentioned it a little bit earlier about being a Christian, mentioning faith, and you're a Christian, and you're someone of faith. How did that happen?
Yeah, so I don't have an amazing sort of conversion story.
Yeah.
I always believed that there was someone out there bigger than me. I assumed it was Pavarotti for most of the 90s. But I think I always had an idea. I remember when I was 5 years old, my mum and dad are Christians, and when I was 5 or 6, I had a really bad nervous twitch, and I used to blink compulsively, used to cough nervously, and I got in a lot of, I really annoyed my teacher, Mrs. Jones. She used to shout at me because she couldn't cope with it. It was just ridiculous. And anyway, one night my mum prayed for me, and I was lying down, and she just said, I'm going to pray for you now. And I started to feel really dizzy. I said, Mum, what's going on? She said, well, that's the Holy Spirit come to heal you. And as she left the room, I thought, any moment now I'm going to blink, I'm going to cough compulsively, I'm going to shake my head. And I'm still waiting sort of 35 years later. So I had that experience. Yeah. So I had that experience of God quite early on. Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, you can't live off just experience. You have to have the whole spectrum sorted. So there's the intellectual side and there's the emotional side. And I think I have worked really hard to go after truth.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to know what was true. I mean, when I was at university, not so much. There was bigger questions when I was at university, like what flavour pot noodles shall I have for my tea tonight? Who's my favourite member of S Club 7? Rachel.
Yes. And how do I get a phone number?
Should I wash my sheets this week or just Febreze them again? Questions like that.
Do you know what? Someone was telling me not to wash my shirt this evening. Jane at the back. Thank you very much, Jane. Because I haven't put on weight. My shirt has actually shrunk in the wash. And she said, don't wash it, just Febreze it.
Okay. She's gross.
That's what I thought. Who doesn't do that?
And so are you.
Yeah, anyway.
And so are all of you.
Anyway, back to university.
Yeah, so, but then after university, I think I realised that something had got lost. And I wanted to have nice experiences, of course. We all want to have nice spiritual experiences. But I also wanted to know what was true. So I went on a journey to find out what was true. And I wasn't sure what I was going to find there. I don't think I was biased in any way. And, as a young sort of lad in his early 20s, the idea of picking the religion where you're encouraged to save yourself for marriage physically, that wasn't number one on the list. Yeah. But I came to the conclusion, I went searching for meaning, as we all do, and I wanted to have an answer to the questions of purpose, origin, purpose, and destiny. These are the three questions that everyone throughout time and across the world has tried to answer. Origin, purpose, destiny. Where do we come from? Why are we here? Where are we going? Yeah. And any worldview worth its salt, I don't just mean religion, but any worldview, any philosophy that wants to make a claim on who you are and how you should live, has to answer those questions. Yeah. And for me, having really worked hard, looked into it, there's only one story that comes anywhere near to answering those questions satisfactorily, and it's the story of Jesus. And I'll carry on. You can ask your next question, whatever that is.
I don't know.
You don't know what the next question is?
No. So this person, Jesus.
Yeah.
What has been so significant about that person for you?
Yeah. Okay. Great. Like when I was a new Christian, I was bad at sharing my faith because I used to try and talk about miracles. I'd share the thing I just shared, or share about someone's knee getting healed. And these things are true, and I see them quite a lot. But they're not enough to convince somebody, because for someone who's lived in the West, in a very sort of secular environment, it just sounds mad. And some of it is mad. You and I have been to places where it is mad. Yeah. So it's actually not helpful a lot of the time. And then so what I might do is to try and say, well, I think I can show you that the Bible is reliable. At the very least, we have an authentic record of what was written down 2,000 years ago, that it hasn't been doctored, it hasn't been corrupted. And I might be quite successful at that. But then someone might say, okay, but all you've done there is show me that 2,000 years ago, a small group of people in the Middle East believed that Jesus was God, and then were phenomenally good at telling people. Yeah. That doesn't mean that these things are true. And so I was coming up against a lot of brick walls, and a lot of them were my fault because I was inserting like an unnecessary middleman. So the way I approach it now is to ask the person, okay, you tell me what you know is true about yourself, and I will show you that Jesus makes the most sense of what you already know to be true about yourself. You've got a little story that you share with everybody else. Like, everyone in this room has a little story, the things that we know are true. So you want to be loved. You believe in love. You want to be loved unconditionally. Not just loved a bit, but unconditionally. You don't want to be rejected because of who you are or what you do. You believe that some things are objectively wrong, like definitely wrong. You and I might disagree on the things that are right and wrong, but we all have this sense. So everyone in this room believes that abusing a child is always wrong and never a matter of opinion. You have a core of belief, this inbuilt sense of justice. You believe in purpose. You want your life to be about something and to go somewhere. You know that when you listen to beautiful music, it's transcendental. It takes you out of yourself towards something else. And just briefly, I think what I would say is, and there's other things, well, you know that death feels unnatural.
Yeah.
The question is, which big story makes the most sense of your little story? And I am convinced that the only story that comes anywhere close is the story of Jesus. And you know, suffering is a big one. People say, the biggest question that people ask me, and we'll ask on Alpha, is what about suffering? Do you know what? The existence of suffering is an argument in favor of Christianity, not against it. Because at the cross, which is obviously the crux of what happened, it's God's way of saying, I know what it means for you guys to suffer. I know you're in pain. And here I am suffering with you and for you. And guess what? That's not the end of the story. Jesus being born is God's way of saying, you're not alone in the universe, guys. I'm here. I've come to find you. You don't have to worry about what God might look like. Jesus says in John 14, if you've seen me, you have seen the Father. This is what God is like. And what is God like? He dies for his enemies. He dies for the people who don't know him. So that Jesus being born is God's way of saying, I've come to find you. I'm here. You're not alone. Jesus dying on the cross is God's way of saying, I know what it means to suffer. I'm suffering with you and for you. And then Jesus rising again on the third day is God's way of saying to death, which otherwise gets to beat every single one of us, sorry, mate, not today, not on my shift. Because you know that death is your enemy. That's another thing you know. And you also know that death has minions, things that work for death. Alcoholism works for death. If it goes unchecked, it will kill you. It's not your fault, but it will kill you. Self-harm works for death. Addiction of any kind. Anxiety works for death. These things that lead to death. Colossians 2:14, it's a letter in the New Testament. My favorite verse in the entire Bible says, having disarmed the powers and authorities, he, Jesus, made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. At the cross, Jesus takes on all the things that are against you and says, you know what, they don't get to win. The cross is the thing that killed Jesus, but it's a stop sign for everything that's trying to kill you. The cross is a cosmic restraining order against the powers of death and destruction arrayed against you. And that's why I call it the gospel, because it's good news. And that's why I'd encourage people to come on this Alpha course that you're doing.
So you clearly have gone through a journey of searching for yourself, seeking for truth, searching for truth. You've had spiritual experiences. And one of the things that we would say here at this church is Christianity is not a religion, but a relationship. What does that relationship look like for you?
Yeah, sure. And I'll make it brief because obviously we want people. I don't want to go home, but these people do. I think we all know what we've lost in this last 18 months. No one has come out of this last 18 months unscathed. And I think the stuff that we've really lost and missed and lacked is that relationship. You know, no one's missing Netflix. No. Because we've had loads of that. We're missing real relationship. And we all want real relationship. We want to be secure in our relationships. We want to know that we can say and do anything and we won't be condemned by the person. Whatever that is, a friend or a partner or a child or a parent. We want to be completely safe. And you know, in all of these other religions, so in the Quran, for instance, it's just in the text, it says, Allah loves not the unbelievers. If Islam is true, and it might be, any of these stories might be true, and you're not a Muslim, well, God doesn't love you. Bad luck. A lot of us are in a lot of trouble. In these Eastern religions, the cool ones that everyone's really into, God's not knowable. He's neither he, she, it. It's neither personal nor impersonal. You can't have a relationship with something that isn't a person. You know, I don't love this table. I like it. It's a good table, solid IKEA, $7.99. But it's I can't love it because it's not a person. And again, the claim of Christianity, which at least makes it worth looking into, is that God is a person,
Yeah.
is personal,
Yeah.
loves us unconditionally,
Yeah.
never turns us away,
Yeah.
and came to find us and offers us, you know, the things that you deeply, deeply desire. Beyond the wealth and the sex and the wine. And don't get me wrong, I love wine. If it wasn't for red wine, I wouldn't have driven here tonight. That's a joke. But there's the things that you really want: hope, peace, joy, freedom, unconditional love. These are all offered in Christianity, and they're not offered anywhere else to the same degree. So it's just worth looking into. And you know, during this last 18 months, to know, because I've had a horrible time really, and lots of people have, to know that I am not written off.
Yeah.
That the creator of the universe knows me by name, calls me by name, and that on the other side of this valley of death that we're all in, there's
got a purpose and a plan.
There's purpose in the pain, To know that I'm fully known and fully loved, that's what gets me up in the morning.
Yeah. Andy, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So here's the thing. We're here tonight, and we've had a great evening. I hope you have had a great evening. And the people that come to this church on a regular basis genuinely believe the kind of stuff that Andy believes. I believe it, otherwise I wouldn't be here. That a personal relationship with God through the person of Jesus Christ radically changes your life for the better. And if you're here this evening and you've got some questions about life, faith, and spirituality, I think quite often in life, we don't necessarily stop to ask the bigger questions of life, unless we're perhaps, you know, around a campfire having a few beers, or down the pub, or off our face, and we start to contemplate life and the meaning of the universe. We tend not to do that thing, but in this church, we try to have a context where people can ask the bigger questions of life, and it's called Alpha. I'm just going to show a short little video, 2 minutes, which will just give you a little bit of an introduction to this thing that we run here called Alpha, which you might be interested in. If we can play that, Anton.
Every day we ask so many questions. What should I wear? What's the weather going to be like? How am I going to fit everything in? But then there are those bigger questions, like, why am I here? Where am I heading? Is there more to life than this?
Arrived at an answer to the most important issue that we humans ever deal with. Is there a God? And I had arrived there without ever really looking at the evidence. And I was supposed to be a scientist.
At 28, I had gotten many of the things that I thought I wanted. My girlfriend was on the cover of magazines, I had a Beamer, and I was so unhappy. It was a realization maybe that I would never find happiness where I was looking for it.
I think for so many years, you know, I always just strived to be strong in myself. All I needed was me and my buddies, and, you know, we'd be like invincible. But the truth is, none of us are.
And I found purpose, I found meaning, I found hope. God took something so broken and made it a beautiful art piece.
Alpha is a place where you can be yourself. You can say what you think and challenge everything. No question is too complex or too simple. And what your point of view is as important as anyone else's.
We are going on a journey together, an adventure to explore the questions of life, faith, and meaning.
So we run this thing called Alpha here at this church, and we do it online, on Zoom, and anybody is welcome to come and join us. And you've been here on a Wednesday evening at 7:30 till kind of like nearly 10 o'clock. We run this evening 7:30 till 9 o'clock on Zoom. A bunch of us kind of like host it, and there's some 30-minute films that we watch that look at some of the aspects of the Christian faith. And because it's on Zoom, you can always leave the meeting whenever you want. You don't have to turn the camera on or anything like that. You can sign in or not sign in. So if you are someone here and you're thinking about some of these bigger questions in life, maybe the pandemic's caused you to ask some bigger questions about life and faith and purpose and all of that. You might have been invited here by someone that comes to this church. Why don't you ask them, why did you invite me to this thing? Why is God so important to you? What's the significance of Jesus in your life? Because I think the people that come to this church on a Sunday, and you're welcome to come and join us any Sunday, 10 o'clock, we meet in the building. The people that come here, they genuinely believe that Jesus Christ has changed their life, and that he's not dead, and that he's alive and can be known, and you can have a personal relationship with him, and that he's the creator of the universe. And I wonder what it would look like for you to have a personal relationship with the creator of the universe. So on your tables, you'll see these little flyers. They've got details. You can go to our website. You can sign up online. But if you want to just, if you know tonight, do you know what, I'd like to find out more, then right at the back by that kind of coffee bar area is Pearl, the amazing Pearl. And if you would like to join us next week online, 7:30 on Zoom, put your name and email address down, and we'll email you the Zoom link and details. And we would love you to join us. We usually get about 20, 30 people joining us, something like that. And it's an opportunity for you to think through the questions that you've got and ask your questions. And let me just say, no one's going to come hunting you down if you give us your email address. We'll send you 1 or 2 emails first, and then if you don't want to come, it's absolutely fine. No one's going to come hunting you down. But we genuinely believe that it makes a difference to people's lives for the better, and it's worth at least considering. So I want to say thank you so much for joining us. Why don't we give a final round of applause to Andy Kind. Andy? I think he's gone. I think he's asleep in the back. Andy, thanks so much. Thanks to Paul Kerensa. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. If there's any people that are kind of like regulars here at St. Luke's and you can help kind of like pack down, that we'd appreciate that, but don't worry if you've got to go. We want to set this up. We've got a big cafe and toddler group here tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be doing other things like this, kind of Christmas services coming up. Look out for those. You can visit our church website, stlukesmaidstone.church, stlukesmaidstone.church, all the things that are happening. If you are able to take your bottles, stuff with you, any full bottles, feel free to leave on the table. I can take those home and share them with my wife. That would be fab. Thanks so much. Take care, and God bless.